following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln and online at merealty.com. It is 4:02 p.m. here on Tuesday afternoon on WLCN 96.3 FM. I am Loyd Kirby, the marketing manager here at WLCN, and it's time for the 4 p.m. 411, where we speak with folks who have something to say, something newsworthy, something related to the news. And we went to our archives today, I guess, and pulled him out of retirement. Or is that retirement in quotes, maybe? Or
very much so, in quotes.
So Shannon Kelly is with us, a local lad who, at the time of the first Logan or proposed Logan closing, 2011, he was the president of the local ASCME 2073, and that actually
was the last. We've actually had some before that as well.
Oh, really?
Yes. So during my 26-year career, this will be the third time they've targeted Logan.
Okay. And so we thought, we obviously the potential closure of Logan is in the news, so we thought maybe we've had some individuals who currently work at Logan who have talked about some of the current things happening and rationales and why closing Logan is not a good idea for really anyone involved. So we thought maybe we'd take a look backwards and look at what happened in 2011 when the closure was proposed, and then ultimately it was defeated, I guess, and is still open today. So Shannon, as I mentioned, was the president of the union that time. Can you kind of take us back to sort of the timeline? Because I know we're talking about closure of Logan, but the events leading up to that, I think, were a little bit different than they've been in 2024.
So in 2011, we were totally caught off guard. At the time, Governor Quinn announced on September 8th, 2011, that he was going to close Logan Correctional Center, and it came out of left field. Nobody was expecting that to happen. So we quickly organized. It seemed difference between 2011 and this one, it seemed like we had more time to prepare. This one just kind of jumped at them, and the timeline has accelerated. But we had a rally at the courthouse several weeks before the hearing, and we started at the old Chamber of Commerce building over on 5th Street, and with the help of the city police, the county sheriffs, and the local fire departments, we marched down the streets up to the courthouse, and it was a packed square, and we had several speakers, including myself, at the time our Council President Henry Bear and local representatives speak, and really kind of tried to fire up the people to say, hey, it was a pep rally, so to speak, to get the community ready for the hearing a week or two later.
Okay. And that hearing did take place, I believe it was the end of October, if I remember right. I was reading back Nyla Smith. For those who are interested in what happened in 2011 and want more details, Lincoln Daily News, if you check their archives, Nyla Smith has a very detailed report of what happened and who spoke with the COGFA panel and so forth at the hearing. But the hearing took place at what was then Lincoln Christian University in the chapel, and according to Nyla's report, there were about 1,200 people there. That was according actually to then Mayor Keith Snyder, who wrote and thanked the 1,200 people for showing up. I guess what I want to ask you about that hearing is, what was sort of the climate or the mood of that hearing? Was it sort of a us versus them kind of a mood, or was it more like, hey, let's all try to work together and find the best thing for everyone involved?
Based on the people who were on the COGFA committee at the time, I think it was pretty much they were in unison with us. They didn't see the need or reasoning to close Logan Correctional Center. If I remember correctly, there were two. So they'll have the hearing, then they'll go back to the Capitol and they'll have a vote. And I believe we had two people who voted to close Logan out of that committee. And again, for the folks out there, the COGFA hearing and committee is just a recommendation. It is not the final say-so. The governor will ultimately have the final decision on it. But the day of the hearing, I got up that morning, I went down to the Capitol, did some lobbying, then came back to town and helped people put some more road signs up. And I got out to LCU a little bit later than I normally would have liked to. And when I got out there, I was just blown away by the community support. Had a sea of red back then. We were wearing our red and green shirts. I decided to break it.
Let me take the lower third graphic off so people can see it.
Decided to
Save Logan shirt there.
Break it out of the archives. It's a little more snug because it shrinks over the years.
That's how it works.
But again, I was just blown away. I showed up out there, and it was a sea of red. And I really believe, even though a lot of the committee people were already on our side, I believe that helped sway it. Mm-hmm. And I think we have an opportunity Thursday evening to help sway some of the members of this committee, when this time we're going to go with a sea of green.
Right.
So I just encourage everybody to put their green on and get to Lincoln Junior High on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who aren't aware, we've got it on the screen if you're watching the live stream. The COGVA hearing on the closure of Logan Correctional Center Thursday, June 13th, starts at 5 p.m. The hearing starts at 5 p.m. That's at Lincoln Junior High at 208 Broadway Street. However, prior to that, at 4 p.m. downtown will be a rally of support. Folks will show up there at 4 p.m. and then I think that wraps up around 4:30, and folks are going to march the approximately 5 blocks to the junior high, and as you said, hopefully a sea of green there to kind of sway the panel's or influence the panel's impression. So what was the you mentioned a sea of green. A lot of people are saying that a lot of the reasoning behind the closure is it's going to save the state money because Logan is in such disrepair, the costs involved, yada, yada, yada. And so when you said a sea of green, I was thinking green money. But as we've heard earlier this week from some of the other guests from Logan, that savings that is being sort of touted by those in favor of the closure isn't necessarily or really going to be a savings.
That's patently false that that's going to save money. There's no way this closure of Logan would save any money. As a matter of fact, it'll be more costly. If you look at building cost, labor is cheaper in central Illinois than it is north of I-80. So you're going to pay people more money to build that facility. The ground here in Logan County isn't what would be the land value up there. So you're going to spend more money for the land value. It's just not going to save money. I know it's been mentioned, but overtime costs in Department of Corrections is already high. And I know for a fact, through my 27 years with the department, that Stateville Correctional Center has some of the highest overtime costs in the state. Matter of fact, when there was a negotiation on doing mandatory overtime, Stateville was kept exempt from it and had their own mandatory overtime agreement written. So, that the rules don't always apply there that apply everywhere else. It's not going to save a penny more. It's going to cost a whole lot more to move them up there.
And then, of course, in addition to the initial cost of the building, some other things we've heard from other folks, Josh Moraine and Mr. McNamara and so forth, the training that is involved, not only the training of the officers and the personnel, what is in place in Logan. You can't just pick that up. It's not like you're going to ship a textbook or a training manual to a new prison and say, here you go, just read through this and you know everything there is to know. Well,
it was a trial by error for us originally at Logan. They just kind of threw these women at us, and it wasn't just necessarily women. It's a very high mental health population with the women's facility. But the staff out at Logan have gone through so much training, dealing with mental health, dealing with offenders in crisis, and the PREA training, which is a Prison Rape Elimination Act. The training you have to go through from that, which is done everywhere, but it's more prevalent in a women's facility. And, you're not just going to, again, you can't just pick them up and throw them away or throw them up there and expect it to work out. It's not going to work out. And as much as some people might not like to hear this, we, the employees of the IDOC, are in charge of protecting the offender population and keeping them safe.
Sure.
It is my opinion that if you take a highly mentally ill population and move them from a place that they're comfortable, that is going to make them more susceptible to injury, self-harm. They also will retaliate against staff. Right. So you're putting the offender population and the staff population in a graver danger by moving these women.
Okay. So once again, if you have questions or comments, 217-648-5510. Shannon Kelly is our guest here until 4:30. We'll go ahead and take our first break right now, but we'll be back with more with Shannon. And once again, if you have any questions, give us a call. We're right after this.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm Agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Back on the 4 p.m. 411 here on WLCN 96.3 FM. We do have a caller, so let me, if I can operate the machinery correctly here. Let's see if, caller, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you have a question or a comment for us? Do you, oh, you're cutting out on us. I'm sorry. Can you start over, please?
Yes. What's up? K1356. Absolutely. Well, hopefully they take all factors into consideration, and we can keep Logan right here where you and I had careers.
We had our careers there. I'm retired from there, so I mean.
Absolutely, Sarge. Thanks for calling, Sarge.
All right, thank you. Once again, if you have questions or comments, 217-648-5510, the number to call. You can also email your questions or comments, 4pm411 at WLCNonline.com. Our caller there brought up a point that we talked about it a little bit in the first segment, the idea of staffing. You mentioned how moving sort of an at-risk population puts them in greater harm, plus they could do harm to the staff there, which maybe isn't necessarily trained or as well trained as the Logan folks. But in addition, the other factor you mentioned, the fact that they're understaffed in that area in the prison. You know, if you're all going in with not enough staff, and then you've got more staff, those staff are going to get hurt. That just, the numbers don't add up.
If you can't staff one facility, how are you going to staff two? And the population with the mental health takes unique staff to be able to run it. It's a very stressful environment. I would say Logan is the most stressful environment in the state because again, the mental health population, they do self-harm, and when you see that, it weighs on you.
Oh, I'm sure.
You take it home with you. They also throw bodily fluids on a regular basis, and That's something you can't necessarily just let go.
Right.
It's a tough environment. The staff out at Logan are the best I ever worked with. I had the honor of being their supervisor, and I can honestly say, and this isn't blowing smoke, that when the chips were down at Logan, the staff stepped up. Mm-hmm. There has never been a time where I had an incident on my shift or on any shift that the staff didn't step up in a time of need. They are the best at what they do. They are the best trained in the state, and they deserve a modern facility right here that they call home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So once again, our guest is Shannon Kelly, the former president of the ASCME Local 2073, and he went through this when he was president at 2011 with the closure or potential closure of Lincoln, which was staved off, thankfully, and we hope to make history repeat itself here with the hearing coming up on Thursday, the COGFA hearing taking place at Lincoln Junior High School, 208 Broadway Street. That begins at 5 p.m. A rally of support for the workers and just for keeping the facility open takes place at 4 p.m. on Thursday downtown at the courthouse. Then that will wrap up around 4:30, and folks will march the 5-block trek down Broadway Street to the junior high. I want to go back in time with you, if I could, Shannon, to the actual COGFA hearing. For this particular hearing, and we were talking about a little bit about it before we went on the air. For this particular hearing, I understand there's going to be a presentation or sort of a question and answer period between the COGFA panel and the DOC representatives, and then after that segment, that's when the public testimony period can take place. Folks are limited to 2 minutes, and you told me there was a time limit when you went as well.
Yeah, even as the union president representing all the employees, they only allowed me 2 minutes. The director of the Department of Corrections was up there for much longer than 2 minutes, and was inaccurate in a lot of what he said, and I didn't care. I pointed out his inaccuracies. He thought he knew our entire facility based on one building he went on to, and he described that our whole facility was set up that way. So I told him he was wrong. And
dormitory-style facilities?
Yes, he called it. Logan was all dormitory style, and then I told him, you were wrong, Director. Walk around and look at the other buildings. He gave me a kind of a dirty look, but I didn't care.
Right.
I was elected to represent the people and point out the truths and the falsehoods that the director was giving out. And there's going to be more of that Thursday. The state's going to come out and they're going to say all these terrible things about Logan. And we're not arguing. There's no argument that Logan Correctional Center is in disrepair and does need rebuilt. Mm-hmm. But you can actually, there is enough bed space open, you can move the females or the population to other buildings, tear down the buildings, and do the construction on site and never have to move these women to another facility anywhere. They did that actually in 1995 when they built our X house. They did that when we still had the inmate population there. They just put a fence around it. They built this new building, and everything went on as normal. You could do that again. Mm-hmm. And the money's in the budget. We mentioned earlier that it's going to cost, or it'd be a cost savings. The money's already allocated. Mm-hmm. So you can start that right now. You can move them to what my staff out at Logan would know as the high side or the low side. It's how our buildings are set up. Mm-hmm. You could put a fence on that site and start the construction. You could start construction Friday. Thursday have the hearing, say, hey, we're not going to do this. Friday, let's start construction and get a new facility going with the money that's allocated in the budget. And you're going to, again, save money because the labor cost is cheaper in central Illinois than northern Illinois.
Sure, absolutely. And at that hearing, what was the sort of the tone of your testimony, if you remember? Like was it more deferential, like you were trying to kind of pay these guys respect and yes sir and no sir, or was it more like you're going face to face with the bully and you just get into a nice wide stance and go for the knockout?
Great one. Great. So my stuff I hadn't set up to say at the hearing was it had to be altered right away because of the falsehoods told by the then director. But to me, I went into that hearing for a fight.
Okay.
I wasn't going to be friends with them, even though we had friends on that committee. I do recall that as my time was wrapping up, the committee person said they'd give you a signal when your time's up, and I just told her, and I'm not stop. I'm going to finish what I have to say. So for me, it was confrontational. I know Henry Bear, our executive director at the time, treated it as a confrontational, and we also had the Lincoln president that spoke after me, and we treated it as a fight, and we weren't going to have friends.
All right, so we're actually a couple minutes past our second break here, so we'll go ahead and take that. Once again, we're speaking with Shannon Kelly, past president of the local ASCME 2073, the workers at Logan Correctional Center. Once again, we're talking about the past potential closure of Logan Correctional Center back in 2011 when Shannon was president. And if you don't have plans for Thursday, or even if you do, change them. We've got the COGFA hearing happening Thursday evening starting at 5 p.m., a rally in support of the workers before that at 4 p.m. in the downtown area, in the courthouse area, and then the hearing begins at 5 at the Lincoln Junior High on Broadway Street. But we'll go ahead and step away for a couple minutes, and we will be back with more with Shannon Kelly and talking about Logan Correctional Center right after this.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butter Burger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Here on WLCN 96.3 FM. We've got a few minutes left with Shannon Kelly, past president of ASCME 2073, the local union for the Logan Correctional Center workers. Now, is that it's all workers, or is it just guards? Or
It is all state staff.
Okay.
We do have some contractual staff, Wexford, and some other, but yeah, that covers your office staff, your dietary staff, your rec staff, so they pretty much cover everybody.
Okay. And once again, obviously talking about things related to the closure and the COGFA hearing coming up regarding Logan Correctional Center, happening this Thursday. The hearing is, rather, not the closing. And I wanted to once again go back in time with you. You mentioned how there were, or we referenced back the Lincoln Daily News article by Nyla Smith, that there were about 1,200 people who showed up to the hearing in 2011. As the union president, obviously you were given the news, okay, we're closing Logan, and then obviously it did not happen. What do you think made the difference there? What do you think changed the minds?
I truly believe it was the community involvement. I said it then, I'll say it now. Them showing up, making their phone calls to the legislators made the difference. And with this, we don't just need everybody from this area calling. If you have family that live in southern Illinois. You have family that live in northern Illinois. Get a hold of them, even friends up and down those areas. Get a hold of them, have them call their reps too. Because it can't just be the voices of central Illinois saying, don't let this happen. They need to have the other legislators put pressure on the governor from other parts of the state saying, don't let this happen.
Okay. And so, as you recall, in 2011, what happened after the COGFA hearing, between the hearing and finally the announcement that Logan was going to be saved?
Well, for me, immediately after the hearing in 2011, a little bit of rest. It was a very busy 2 months. We just waited for the committee to have their hearing down at the Capitol where they voted on it. And then we just wait for the governor's final decision. And I was working through 811 when somebody finally said, hey, the budget came back and they got the money allocated to keep Logan open. So that was a big sigh of relief at that point.
Yeah, I was on the Save Logan Correctional Center Facebook group a little bit earlier, going back through some of your posts after the hearing and before the saving took place, and it seemed like it was a little bit of a, kind of a teeter-totter there. Like 1 minute, well, the assembly adjourned and there was no vote, so things aren't looking so great. Well, now it sounds like there is momentum to keep things open, so it sounds like whichever way the wind blew, it sounded like things could change pretty quickly.
We woke up that morning feeling pretty positive about it based on the people we had talked to, and then as the day proceeded, the votes weren't there. And obviously later the votes came in. I did want to touch on something that the governor did say that I meant to bring up earlier. He had mentioned that communities should start looking into more private sector businesses and not rely on the public sector.
And we're talking about the current governor.
Yes, currently one of the reasons that J.B. Pritzker wanted to do this is he's saying, communities shouldn't rely on public sector jobs, and he's absolutely right. We should be looking, and I know the mayor is working on getting other jobs here, but that doesn't mean you rip 500 jobs out of the community. That doesn't mean you move 500 public sector jobs to another community, because you're trying to say don't rely on them, but you're going to put those jobs somewhere else. So that's another falsehood he's putting out there.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. So once again, the COGFA hearing happens Thursday. I have been in contact with an individual at the COGFA offices. His estimate was, or in his email to me, he said the hearing could last anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, depending on how the chairs decide to kind of run the meeting. Do you recall how long the hearing was? I mean, it probably seemed like forever.
No clue. That day was so long. I do want to take a moment, too, to thank the community for what they have done so far. The fight's not over yet. Businesses throughout this community that have stepped up and supported us. WLCN. You guys have done a great job getting people on the air. You did a great job back in 2011 allowing us to run some PSAs there. But it's very important. Thursday is very important. You have to show up the rally. I mean, the rally you don't have to show up for, but it really will show the staff out there that you support them.
Sure.
And it will be especially important if you can't get off work to get to the rally to get to Lincoln Junior High. We have to fill that junior high up. They have to know this community is behind it. And, we truly, truly appreciate everything the community's done. I wouldn't have the friends I have if it weren't for this prison. My family moved here to open the prison back in the 70s, so everything I know about Lincoln is because of the prison. Mm-hmm. And this isn't just going to affect the employees, and it's going to affect kids.
Right.
Kids are going to have to move, make new friends, leave friends, start new schools. It could be very traumatizing to a lot of people. This is not 2011 again. This threat, I think, is more real this time, even though in 2011 it was very real. The governor seems hell-bent to make this happen, and he's expediting everything. He says 3 to 5 years. That's yet to be seen. So let's get together Thursday, and let's have the fight for our lives, and let's have a fight for Lincoln, Illinois.
All right, that sounds good. One other question I did think of, I've seen on social media, and you probably run in some of the same circles I do, every once in a while there will be sort of a naysayer who says, this decision's been made, you're wasting your time. How would you respond to that kind of a statement?
Well, If we would have done that in 2011, we wouldn't be having this hearing Thursday.
That's true.
It's false. I mean, the governor may have his mind made up, but, everybody looks at votes and polling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said it's important to contact people throughout the state to have them call. But if you have that attitude, please don't be on the Save Logan Correctional Center Facebook page, because the staff don't need that. They need positive thoughts, and I would encourage people, get on Facebook, join the Save Logan Correctional Center Facebook page, and just throw a message on there. I'll start a post here Thursday morning, and just respond to it and let the staff know that you appreciate the job they do and that you have their backs.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, our guest has been Shannon Kelly, former president of the local ASCME 2073. He is here telling us the history of the potential closure back in 2011, which did not happen, and hoping to make history repeat itself here on Thursday with the COGFA hearing, Thursday, June 13th, 5 p.m. at Lincoln Junior High, 208 Broadway Street here in Lincoln. The rally takes place before that at 4 p.m. up at the courthouse, and then folks will march from the courthouse to the junior high. Mr. Kelly, thank you for joining us. Any final parting words of thought?
I think I touched on about everything. Thank you for having me again. Show up Thursday. We appreciate your support. I've been retired for 3 years now, but this fight still means a great deal to me, so get out and support those employees.
All right, very good. So thank you for joining us. Once again, we invite you to tune in tomorrow to Viewpoint. Annie Coors will be on. She's the village president of New Holland, talking about some of the some exciting new things happening in New Holland in terms of housing. But for this time, thanks again, Shannon, for being with us. I'm Loyd Kirby for WLCN and the 4 p.m. 411 Save Logan Correctional Center. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.